This week on For the Record, major flooding could be headed to the Quad Cities area, how Davenport is asking Congress to help them stay afloat. And workers in Illinois earning minimum wage will soon see larger paychecks, what that means for the Quad Cities, and how one late-night show host is responding to the latest conspiracy theory about Capitol Hill.
Local for you, from the heart of the Quad Cities. Your local election headquarters presents For the Record.
Hello everyone, I'm Kelly Bowles in for Jim Needleman, and this is For the Record. With spring right around the corner, the National Weather Service says there's a strong chance the Quad Cities area will see major flooding. Depending on rainfall and how fast the snow melts, flood stages could reach record-breaking levels in some spots. It's one of the concerns mayors of communities along the Mississippi River took to Capitol Hill earlier this month. The group, known as the Mississippi River Mayors, told Washington lawmakers more federal funding needs to be put towards flooding and recycling along the river corridor, two issues they say are growing threats to their communities. Now they're asking Congress to allocate $7.8 billion in infrastructure investments to address this. The Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative represents 88 mayors along the mighty river. One of the leaders that represents the Quad Cities in Washington, D.C. and co-chair of this initiative is Davenport Mayor Frank Klipsch.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, who joins us for a discussion this morning. So we're going to start with your trip to Washington, D.C. You said in the past that Davenport is looked at as a leader in flood control. We've already seen preventative measures in place with the HESCO barriers that line the river each year. And while you were in Washington, D.C., you were one of the nearly 24 mayors who told Congress the current funding is not enough. Now you're hoping Congress will approve this multi-billion-dollar plan to address the flood issues. And then we're going to kind of talk first about these flooding issues. How are you hoping that these plans, this multi-billion-dollar kind of proposal, will help with the flooding issues along the Mississippi River?
Well, first of all, we are well equipped for this cupping flood right now. So we're not looking at emergency funding. Mm-hmm. We're looking at funding in the long run for along the Mississippi, including the Davenport and the Quad Cities, for flood mitigation initiatives, resiliency initiatives, and infrastructure. If we have all those things in place, the idea is how can we prevent disastrous flooding in the future, mitigate those that come about. And again, we have a command team in place right now, and we're already starting to plan for what happens if it does go to those record levels. And we can handle it. We're confident we can handle it. Sure, it's going to be definitely a challenge, but we have a team in place, professionals, and using the techniques that we've developed over the years in Davenport. And I know our fellow cities around us also have protection in place. But our concern, literally, we're a hero city because we don't just put up a wall and send our problems down to Louisiana, Arkansas, and Missouri. We deal with them here, and these are one of the things we're working on right now.
And I know there's been some talk of, some people are saying we don't want to see a permanent wall go up. Do you still think that that's a preventable thing?
Well, I think we're definitely in a position where we don't want a wall to go up because, again, all that does is push our problems downriver. Plus, we love our riverfront. It's beautiful. We have 9 miles of riverfront. So how do we, in fact, enjoy the riverfront, allow the water to come out, embrace the Mississippi River, protect the city, and still be able to use that riverfront on an ongoing basis and have that beautiful views? That's what we're committed to. And we're looking for long-term investment, not only locally, but nationally and internationally, to help us to be able to do that.
And now I want to shift gears to the other major environmental concern that you discussed with Washington lawmakers, and that was recycling. Back in September, you were one of the mayors who called on businesses to help reduce plastic waste by 20% by the year 2020. Plastic pollution in the Mississippi River continues to be a growing concern. What kind of progress have you seen from businesses in the area to meet that 20% reduction goal?
Well, I think, first of all, local businesses are all on board. I've noticed a number of places, for instance, going to from plastic straws to paper straws. Those simple things like that, finding more. I was at one of the restaurants last night that have plates made out of like bamboo that's more recyclable than even the traditional other type of styrofoam kind of thing. So I think we're making local efforts. But really the long-term thing is how do we get everybody along the Mississippi and the federal government involved with as well as the states to look at initiatives not only prevent infrastructure challenges related to recycling, because one of the things is what do you do with the recycling once you get it? So we have a great, our Solid Waste Commission here, we do a great job dealing with it, but we want to make sure it ties in as well as the Chinese being able to take the recyclables. So it's a matter of international relations, statewide, national information as well, but also what we can do locally.
Okay, thank you. And that brings us to our question of the week. Now, we're asking, what would you like to see from businesses in the Quad City area to help reduce plastic pollution? You can send your answers by email to fortherecord@whbf.com or respond to this post on Facebook at the Local 4 News WHBF TV page.